Like I would get cards taken away from me in school all the time because I would just be like sitting in school and just doing like things like this. You
Holy.
know what I mean? It's just
You see this type of shit in Vegas, man. Like, what's up, guys? We're back again with another episode of the Role Models Podcast. Today we got the magician.
what's up? What's
We
up?
got the Canada's Got Talent finalist.
What's going on, man?
Savio in the building, man.
Hello, hello.
Thank you so much for joining us
Dude,
today.
thank you for having me, man.
No
I'm
worries.
excited to be here.
I caught you one time live doing a magic event. I think like that was the first time I saw you live. And bro, like some of the shit that you be doing, bro, like how does it work? I know they say a magician never reveals its secret, but it's like, doesn't it scare you doing it?
I mean, look, I'm a pretty honest guy. You know, I tell people what I do is not some kind of witchcraft or some kind of supernatural ability. It's something that a 5-year-old could learn if they put 20 years of practice. You know?
20 years of practice.
It's-
How do you
it's-
learn something in 20 years if you're only 5 years old, man? That's some magician political talk right there.
I took the diplomatic answer,
Yeah.
but no, for real, it's like, you know, a lot of people know that there's magic, right? And sometimes they associate it with like a guy wearing a top hat and like a suit and tie. It's like that's a very old, you know, vision of what a magician used to look like. And I think today a lot of people have changed that narrative. And the type of magic that I do, it's just, I guess, an advancement of that. And so it's just sleight of hand, misdirection, psychology, body language. All these things kind of combine together to create those different illusions of magic. Yeah.
Sounds good.
It was a very long-winded answer.
Now, like I feel like for you to be able to awe people,
Yeah.
there really cannot be a real explanation.
So, but that's the point, right? I mean, like, if the magic wasn't good,
Right.
then, you know, you would be like, oh yeah, I saw it. You know, he's just his hand is doing this, is, you know, and it's just not as good. The goal of a magician is to create something that's so astonishing,
True.
that you have no idea how it's done, right? So the magic has to be that good. But again, at the end of the day, magic is a combination of different things that are put together. Usually how it works is there's like different layers, right? So there's a couple different layers of things that are happening all at once, which you wouldn't really realize if you weren't in that world.
True.
I'm trying to say stuff without saying much. You know what I mean? I'm trying to give the correct answer.
Pretty much in summary, if you know, you know.
I know, for real. That's it. That's it right there, man. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, at the end of the day, the point is it's supposed to look good. So,
Yeah.
because if it didn't, and you're like, oh yeah, I can see he's just doing, then it's just like it's not. You know, what's the point of that? Right? What's the point of that?
That's some skill, though. I want to be a magician. But I feel like I'll use it for a different purpose than you use it for. Like, I'll probably, like, you know, try to use that to pick up girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, hey, look.
Hey man, this is Thanos over here, bro. You gotta doing your own thing, man.
Yeah.
Hey, it is what I mean, bro. Some people have different uses for it. You know what I mean?
True.
No.
At what age did you want to, or did you start learning magic?
So I started when I was 10. I was just a very extroverted, introverted kid. So like I loved being outside doing things, but I also loved being at home. And magic was, I think, the perfect balance of both, right? I would be able to go and perform, but I would also be able to stay at home and learn things on my own. I got a magic kit from my parents when I was about 10, and that kind of changed everything. I was hooked. I was like, this is insane. You know, I was so blown away. And the fact that I was able to learn these little things that I can then show friends and family, it really like pushed me to keep going. And also there's always something new to learn. Yeah, you know, it wasn't just the one thing that I learned. It's like after I learned this, it's like, okay, what's next? What do I learn next? What comes after this? You know, and it just kept pushing from there.
Are you religious?
I am, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You remember that part in the Bible where like Jesus Christ turned like, you know, water to wine?
Wine, yeah.
You ever be at events and your family's like, hey, can you like, you know, entertain the guests? Can you entertain like, you know, the party?
Bro, 100%. I'm Indian, right? And so,
Right.
like, dude, we have, you know, big family gatherings and functions. It was always, like, the moment people knew I did magic, it was like, oh, you got to do something. Come on, you got to do something for us, you know?
You got to turn water to wine.
I ain't Jesus, man. I ain't Jesus. But I would always be asked to do something. And it's like, it was a blessing and a curse because, in a way, I got stage time because it was just like, oh, we're doing this birthday party for so-and-so, come and do something. Or we're just here for Christmas dinner. Okay, cool, let's do some magic. So I was always like performing, but at the same time, I felt like I was thrown in the deep end. So like I was kind of just clawing and learning as I went. So I didn't really know what I was doing. I was 10, 11 years old. So it was just like, it was very scary and nerve-wracking at the time. But I was still just like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm just going to do it and figure it out, you know?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. Damn.
Yeah.
So I don't know, how old are you now?
25.
25. So you've been doing magic for 15
Yeah,
years.
man, it's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, I actually got my first paid gig when I was 13. So
Holy.
yeah, I got paid $100 to do a birthday party.
Nice.
It was out in like Scarborough too. I'm from Brampton, and like it was. I was like, "Why you want to pay me like $100 at 13, bro? $100
It's
is
a
a
lot,
lot of money,
yeah,
bro. I'm
yeah.
just like, bro, let's make it rain. You know, it's $100, bro. And I remember showing up in like my suit and tie, and it was too big. You know, I'm pretty sure I took my dad's suit. I don't know. It was just too big with the little bow tie and like a suitcase, and I was like, this is what I do, and I went in, and at the time, I didn't really know much about performing and like how to deliver a good show. It was more so just like I'd go in my suitcase, I'd do one trick, and I'd be like, okay, thanks. I go in the suitcase, I do my next trick, and I'm like, all right, cool. Next one. I did that for an hour straight, just boom, 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 trick after trick, and they liked it. They were like, wow, this is really cool. Here's your money, and I got paid $100. I was like, damn, this is crazy.
I mean, yeah, I like, if you're getting paid for, at 13, if you're getting paid for something that used to be a hobby,
Yeah.
you can imagine like what a 13-year-old is thinking, like, whoa, like how much money can I really make from this now?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I'm rich.
Yeah. Again, more than just the money, it was also just the fact that like someone was willing to like compensate me for something that I was just
Right.
practicing for fun at home.
Right. The appreciation
The
for the craft.
appreciation, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, the money was cool. Don't get me wrong. I was like, yo, this is crazy. But at the same time, I was like, damn, like someone was willing to appreciate what I did, so secretively without other people knowing. It's just my family knew. But other than that, they were just like, oh, wow, we want to see this. And then that night, I got booked for my second show at $200.
Holy.
So I was like, yo,
The
like,
price
this
just
was
went
like-
up.
Yeah, because I did the show there, and then someone there was like, yo, you do this professionally? I'm like, yeah, of course, yeah. I've only done one. And it's like, they're like, oh, like how much would you charge? And I was like, well, I mean, like, what's the budget? Like, what are you trying to do? And he's like, I want 2 hours. I'm like, well, my rate is $100 an hour. He's like, okay. And I was like, I remember having that phone call, and I was like, damn, he said okay to $200. Dude, I was 13 years old. I was like, this is insane, and it just kind of kept climbing from there.
Yeah, man. Savio the magician and Savio the businessman.
Businessman, man. But it's funny you say, I don't want to go on a tangent, but it's funny you bring that up. But I think that a lot of times people get into this entertainment industry, and I do this full time.
Right.
And part of that is because from an early age, I think at the age of 13, I realized that like it's showbiz. Right?
True.
There's the show,
And then there's the
the business side of it,
Facts.
and you need to dial in both if you want to
Facts.
make sure that you become successful. And oftentimes, you actually need to dial in the business side more than the show side.
True.
Because you can have a good show or good at whatever you do, and have really great business skills, and you'll do way better than 90% of people.
Facts.
But if it's vice versa, and you're like an amazing, talented artist, but your business skills are very like non-existent.
Yeah.
You don't really go that far in this industry, and
Or people take advantage of you.
or that yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of people who like I'm like, oh, how is this event? What are you getting paid, or how does this deal work? They're like, oh, I don't know anything. I just
I just showed up.
I just show up. My people take care. I'm like, that's crazy. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like I know people do things their own way, but I want to be a part of that process.
True.
Make sure that I know where the money's going, who's signing what paperwork, what contract is there for what I'm doing. So I want to be a part of that process. So I think the business side is very important as well.
No, that is important for me. Like even like in my artist journey, like there was a time where I had a manager, and like my manager was stealing from me, and because I wasn't really focusing on the money aspects or where the money is going. Like I was just like, all right, we need this amount, we need this budget. All right, I'm gonna get it ready.
Right.
I'm gonna just give it to my manager, and then my manager used that opportunity to skim from the top. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you've really gotta. And after that, like I started to like I spent a long time like learning what management really was, and I started to manage myself, and the results started like obviously like show
Absolutely.
for itself. So it's like sometimes even if you're not, you need people you can trust first of all. If you're gonna like let them like handle that managerial like aspect. But even if you don't understand the business and they're telling you something and you don't get it, you're gonna tell them like pretty much like, hey, like you have access to everything. So it's like whatever you want to do, mismanage. Like it's happened to very famous artists too. So it's like everybody. I feel like that's an entertainer. You gotta keep your ears open and keep your eyes open, because otherwise your team might be doing some magic tricks behind the scenes.
Man. Things might be disappearing.
Moving some money to the Cayman Islands. You know what I'm saying?
It's like one less zero in the account.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what happened? Yeah, it's gone, just like that. No, but it's true, man. I think you got to be very, cautious of everything going on around you, especially if money's involved, man. Like, come on.
No, truly.
At the end of the day,
Truly.
It's like,
you were smart enough to like realize that at a very early age. So it's like that's amazing, man.
And also, like, we live in, I think, the best time ever, because information is so easily accessible.
True.
You don't know, you know how to file taxes, bro, just Google it.
True.
You know what I mean? Like you could Google it how to do that. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Or you don't know how to write an invoice, bro, you can Google that.
True.
How do
Or
you write a
there's
proper
automated
email?
ways.
Or there's automated, now there's
Facts.
AI, bro.
AI,
You can
bro.
just, and it's just like, you know, sometimes you pay management to do like admin stuff like email. And it's like, yo, it'll take you 5 minutes to write an email.
True.
But people, again, aren't willing to sit down and do the work to look at those things. And again, it's not that hard. It's just, it takes a little bit of time, you know? So I don't know, the business side I've always been very passionate about as well.
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
So, at what point did you decide, like, okay, like I'm ready to show the world my talent, and you know, you decide to go on Canada's Got Talent?
So that came a lot later. I mean, again, I started when I was 10, Magic, but I didn't have a moment, you know, in that early on to showcase this kind of stuff. It was more so, at that time, it was about the repetitive, like, practice of it. I would go out, do shows for any and every kind of event. I've done everything from banquet halls to bars to birthday parties and basements and backyard parties, like everything, anything you can think of, I've done.
Hustler.
Before. No, for real. It was just
Yeah.
like, because for me, it was like I want stage time, and also this was kind of like my part-time kind of job at the time. I was charging a couple $100 here or there, and I would always push that number a little bit. I'm like, oh, he paid me 200. How can I charge 300 here or 405? I kept pushing that number to see where it would go, and it became a little side hustle for me at an early age. And again, it wasn't just about the money. It was, again, for me, it was to develop the craft.
True.
And so high school came, and again, it was another playing ground for me where I was trying and doing all these things. We would have like, there's a time where we were in the cafeteria, I remember, and there's a huge like, there's like a, what am I trying to say here? I can't even speak properly. There's a huge group of people huddled around, and the principal and the teachers all come running in because they thought there was a fight going on. And then they broke it up, and all you see is like scrawny little Savio, like with my bag, and like I was doing magic tricks in our hallway area, and it was just like, they're like, what's going on? I was like, I'm doing magic tricks. They're like, what? You're doing what? And then the principal and the teachers like were like, all right, let's see. And then I stole the principal's watch in front of like all the kids that were there. It was like, I don't know, a couple hundred kids, and then they lost their mind. It was just like, oh my God. And the principal started laughing. He was like, oh, wow. I gave it back. But, you know, it was just in front of everyone. And so, you know, that became my playground. I was trying to learn and use that as an opportunity to develop my skills even further.
Nice.
So high school happened, and then I'm Indian, so parents were like, yo, you got to go to university, do your thing.
True.
So I went to school for computer science at
nice.
Western University. Was not a easy choice because for me, I already had a love for magic, and I was like, I do want to do this, but I knew with immigrant parents, you know, it was a lot. You know, there's no
have
question.
to study.
There's no question.
Yeah.
And I thought it was fair. I thought it was fair what they asked. They said, look, just finish school, you do whatever you want after. And I was like, okay. So I went to Western, and I picked the party school to enjoy my time. No further comment. But,
Mine was doing party tricks.
No, but even there, I would pull up to the parties, and I'd be doing magic, you know, left, right, center for anyone. And then the school noticed, and they were like, yo, do you want to come do kind of more of your stage shows here? And then they bring me out for orientation week and things like that. And next thing you know, I was doing a show in front of 8,000 students, doing a stage show for them, you know. So again, that was my playing ground for further developing the craft. And during this time, again, I became more, I guess, honed in with the craft, and I was ready to really start pushing it out to the world a little bit more. And content was always there. I would always post videos here and there, but never like consistently as a content creator. But I did make videos. Videos were something I loved. But then I saw the Got Talent series, and it was something I saw growing up, and I was like, man, this would be really cool to do the show. And there's one thing that not a lot of people know, but I think in my first year, I auditioned for America's Got Talent.
Oh, okay.
Which not a lot of people know that, but I got rejected from the show.
Oh.
They were like, you know, we're really interested in having you out, and we're gonna do this, and da da da. And for whatever reason, a couple months in, they were like, hey, Sav, we're really sorry, but like this is not gonna work out. And that was like my first time I was introduced to the world of TV, and I was like heartbroken because I was like, man, like I really thought this was gonna be my moment because, you know, you got talent and people are gonna see me, and then I don't even need to come back to school.
And that is a huge platform too.
Yeah. And I also knew nothing about the world of TV at that point, so I just went in very blind, and I was just doing what was told, and I was kind of just going along with it. And then by the end of it, they're like, yeah, we're really sorry, but it's not gonna work out this year. We're not gonna fly you out, put you on TV, none of that. I was like, oh man, and it was devastating because at that time I kind of neglected everything else because I thought this was my moment. I'm like, if I go all in here, you know, forget about school, you know, forget about all these things. It's like, let me just focus on this, and then and then again, it all fell flat, and I was like, damn. And then I had to pick back up from there because I was like, you know, I wasn't focusing on school, I wasn't my friendships, relationships, all this stuff. It was like kind of going downhill just because I was so like
Invested,
tunnel
man.
visioned into this. But it was a huge learning moment for me. And I know this is a very long-winded way of saying this, but it all kind of links together because at that moment when that happened, I was like, okay, there's two options. One, I can be like, yo, F these guys, I'm never doing this again, whatever. Instead, I was like, okay, how do I learn from this moment? How do I, clearly they didn't pay me because I wasn't good enough, right? And at the end of the day, it's TV. Millions of people audition for a show like this. You need to be good to get on a show like this. So I was like, okay, let me go back to the drawing board. I contacted people who did the show, people who've, consulted on TV, and I was taking notes, man. I was just like, how do I, what's good here? And it's like, I was learning. I was like, oh, that makes sense. You got to work on this and you got to work on that. And your appearance, how you dress, how you talk, your mannerisms, your story. What is your story? Because the world wants to know, what is your story? And so all these things kind of, I started working on from that moment on. The next year I tried again, got to know. The year after I tried again, no again. But every time I was just like, okay, let me learn a little bit more. And I was working on that story and building everything.
Wow.
And about like 4 years went, I was like, man, like I just didn't get it. I was like, at this point, I'm like, I feel like I got it. And I'm like, I started a religious guy, I'm praying. I'm like, man, like, what is it? Like, what's going on? And I'm always a big believer that what's meant for you will come to you. And it's so crazy because the year after that, like it was my final time audition. I was like, oh, screw it. I don't know if I'm going to do this again. And I see a notification pop on my phone and it's like, hey, Canada, we're bringing Got Talent to Canada. And I was like, oh, damn, this is it. This is what I was waiting for. You found me. Because the thing is, at that point, America's Got Talent has been going on for like 18 seasons and I don't know, something crazy. So like if I were to do that show, I would have been one of thousands of magicians who've been on the show.
True.
But with Canada's Got Talent,
First time.
I was one of one. There was no one else. And so I was like, man, I got goosebumps. I remember seeing that video because I was like, there's no way. I'm like, this is it. I knew in that moment I was going to get on that show. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way, but I was just like, yo, like the stars aligned.
Yeah, it's like
And
signs. You're seeing the
I just had
signs.
the sign. And so from that point on, I was like, man, I was looking, I was refreshing the page. I was like, when do these applications open? Like, when is it? And then finally open. I, put together a video, whatever, and I submitted it on the last day it was due because I was like, I want to wait. I want to make sure everything's good. And the next day I got a phone call. They're like, yo, so we loved your stuff. We're just curious if you came to do the show, like, what would you do? And I was like, oh, I do this, and I told them like my idea, and they're like, okay, cool, send us a video of it. So they gave me a couple days, recorded the video, sent it out to them, and literally the next day I got a call. They're like, yo, this is cool. You want to come do this on the show? And I was like, let's go. This is it. This is what I've been waiting for, you know. And so that was kind of like the, I guess, full circle moment of like, oh wow, like it didn't work out years ago, but I just kept trying, kept learning, and kept adapting and growing. And when the opportunity came, it was like boom, it was go time. It was go time. Yeah. I knew.
A lot of people like would have probably given up. Like you're saying this story, and like we're seeing the dedication part of it. We're seeing like the perseverance. We're seeing like okay, like the no, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I got to do better. I got to be better. I got to like work on my craft. A lot of people would have given up.
You know what? I don't know what it was that kept me going. It was just more like I just knew I had to put the ego aside, right? Because I think ego kills a lot of dreams.
True.
Right? At the end of the day, I knew I wasn't good enough at that moment. And I look back now and I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't do that show then because I probably wouldn't have made it anywhere. It would have been like one and done. And who knows what if I screwed up on television? That would be there permanently forever. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So I'm more grateful that it didn't happen then because I had to look back and see, oh, wow, I wasn't ready then.
Right.
But I then had the opportunity to grow and keep going from it. And it was just also just like, again, between the two options, one is just sit there and sulk and be the same I was, or grow and just keep growing and see what comes out of it. Which could be nothing, but it could be something as well. So I don't know. I don't know what pushed me to go, but I just kept pushing.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's the thing, right? Like perseverance, like, I think that's very, very motivational too, because like people watching this too might be going through something that like, they're like, they've been waiting on, maybe they like, got a no, or like, they failed a few times and it's like, damn, like, do I keep going?
Right.
Should I stop? Am I not good enough? Maybe it'll never work out, and we see that a lot, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it really is something to take from that. And then all of a sudden, like, after all this rejection and after like, you've worked on like getting better, now there's an opportunity that has presented itself. Like, the time has finally come. Like, you're better than you were those years ago. Now it's my time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's a quote, something where it's like, success happens when opportunity meets like hard work.
Preparation.
That's what it was. Yeah. So it's like, I think it's that goal to just continuously be prepared and always get better because there's always, something to do that can get you better, whether it's through the the writing, the scripting, every little detail can be improved in some way, shape, or form. And I think the moment you think that you're perfect and you've done everything you could, that's when you start going and seeing that decline, because it's like, no, that's not true. You can be 50 years in the game and still know, oh wait, there's something I can learn.
True.
And those are the people that will continue to push and I think get the things that they want to do.
Question.
No.
What was it like when you finally got on the stage? It's like, okay, I've waited all these years. I got a lot of no's, I got rejections, and now it's finally my time to prove to people that I'm good at what I do, that I can captivate all of these strangers that have never heard anything about me. And also the pressure of, I'm on live TV. What was going on through your mind?
The beginning was definitely nerve-wracking, because funny enough, the call time for set, which is essentially where you show up, was 6:30 in the morning.
Oh.
And so I was like, okay, and it was shot in Niagara, in the Niagara Falls Casino. And so again, from Brampton, it's I think an hour and a half, 2-hour drive. And so we were going to go the night before, and again, the night before, the adrenaline is up, and I'm trying to get the last pieces together that they needed. And they asked for a couple things. I do this trick where I broke a beer glass, and they were like, yo, can you bring extras so that we have to test, and they didn't tell me how many, so I'm preparing 20 bottles. And when I say preparing, I meant they had to get rid of the labels and stuff, so we had to do that on our own. So me, my brother, and my other friend were just sitting there scraping the label off, and it was just insane the night before. And also clothing, fashion is I don't call myself some fashion whatever, but I like to express myself when I'm on stage. I want to make sure I wear something that is authentic to me and something cool and something that you wouldn't see a magician wear. And the first one I was wearing a zebra print jacket. Again, it's very you wouldn't think magician. Right. So, and I get a lot of influence from the hip hop rap culture, and I see these really flashy outfits. I'm like, yo, I want to bring that to the world of magic a little. But that's not easy, because when you're looking for these clothes, it takes time to find. The night before, I still haven't found my outfit. I was just going in and out of stores. I'm grabbing clothes, and I bought everything. I was like, I'll figure out what I need and return the stuff later. But I was just, and then I brought it all home. All the clothes are laid out, and my family's there. We're all just looking, how about this? Mash this over here and do this. This is all the night before, so it's all the stress is kind of compiling. And we leave the house at maybe 2 in the morning, 2:30, and so again 2 hours to get there. We're there 4:30. Check in.
A.M.
Yeah, a.m. I was with my brother and 2 of my friends who came to help out, and we check in 4:30 a.m. and I'm like, yo, you guys get some sleep. And I couldn't sleep. I was up. I maybe slept for 30 minutes, but I got right back up. I'm like, all right, we gotta go. We went there and checked in at 6:30, and then right from 6:30 they pulled you in and they start filming random things random B-roll or your interviews and things like that. So we did all that, and then we got to chill for a long time. I didn't get on stage until 8 p.m. So we're talking from 6:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. I didn't get on stage.
Whoa.
So there's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of just us just chilling, waiting around, talking to the other contestants, just hanging out, doing all these things. But again, your energy kind of goes up.
30 minutes of sleep.
Right. Zero sleep, because the days before I didn't sleep at all either. So it was just I was dude, I was wired. I was and they kept feeding us. So Tim Hortons was one of the sponsors, so they had coffee all lined up, bro. I was just on coffee the whole day, bro. I was just wired up, ready to go on sugar, coffee. And then finally that time came, it was there, and they call. And the funny thing is everything is so I don't even know what the word is. It's very monitored, and it's just if I'm going to the washroom, they're like, yo, we got Savio. Savio's coming into the washroom, right? I'm like, damn, okay, all right. And they follow you. They walk you to the washroom and be like, all right, we got him coming back. Which makes sense. I get it, because it's it's a big production, and if one person is missing, everything falls out of place.
Yeah.
Right? It's you could have been in the washroom, no one knows, right? So everything is very on the clock. But anyway, fast forward, time comes, and I don't know, it was that moment before I got on stage. It was probably the most nerve-wracking, because, man, I'm I've been on stage my whole life, and this is not anything different, but it's like you said, it's the lights are on, the cameras are rolling, and then I finally see the judges, and I'm like, oh, man, Lily Singh's out there, Simon Cowell's out. Sorry, not Simon wasn't there. Howie, Cardi, and Trish, they were all there, and I'm like, yo, and the trick that I did was right up in front of their faces, and so I was the first act to do that as well.
Oh, wow.
Everyone else was on stage. I was the only one to leave the stage, go right to them. So I was man,
pressure.
The pressure was building, man, and we did rehearsals in the morning, so I knew what I was doing, but it was still just it's building, and I'm not one to usually get intimidated by a celebrity, but it's just like, man, just the lights, everything. I was just like, ooh, there's a lot riding on this.
Right.
But the weird thing is that the moment like I got on stage, and it was go time, it was just like a wave of calm just went over me, and I knew this was like the years of practice that kind of just set in. And when I was doing the show, the moment like the first like line happened and I started doing the trick, like that's when like I was just in go mode. I wasn't even thinking about anything else. I didn't care about the lights. I was just like, yo, you guys are my audience, and this is like every other show I've done. I'm just gonna do my thing, and dude, everything went insane. It was the crazy. Like the first round is still to this day like the most memorable because of like everything just went flawlessly. Like boom, boom, boom. Every piece I needed, da da da. Everything just worked, and I got a standing ovation. I was just like, oh my god, like this is it, yo. This was that feeling I was searching for.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, it was unreal. That first moment walking on stage, and there's one moment like that also got cut out of the final edit, but like Lily's, I was like doing the string, and Lily was like leans over, she's like, "Yo, you smell really good," and I was like, "Damn, dude, it threw me off so hard," and I think that's why they cut it because like I was so serious, and then I just chuckled a little. I was like, "Yo, wait, what?" But I had to like keep going, you know. I was like, "Okay, yeah, I appreciate you," boom, and then we kept doing the trick, and then again ended standing ovation, and I was like, "Dude, what?" Like it was just like this crazy influx
Unreal.
of
Yeah.
emotion, and as soon as we finished that, me and my boys and my brother, we were there. We're like, I was like, "Yo, let's go out. You know, everything's on me. We you know, this, that." And at the time it was COVID, and we were just like, everything's closed. I was like, nah, not like this, bro. I want to celebrate. We finally found some restaurant that was open, pop bottles. We ordered everything on the menu, bro. Like it was a table filled with so much food for 4 people, and I was just like, bro, I don't know how we gonna eat all this, but tonight's a good night. We gonna celebrate. You know, we gonna turn up. We just eating a little bit of everything, bro.
The whole
It was
menu of 4
crazy,
people.
bro.
It's like
I was on some next, bro. I was
now,
on some
now,
adrenaline
now,
rush.
now it's time to pay, and you're like, what's this? What's this? Magic trick. Poof.
Man.
I'm out.
I'm out. I'm out. Oh, it was crazy, bro. And we popped champagne into the like over the falls, and it was like such a
Of course.
night to remember.
When
you
you've
know?
been waiting for that moment and
Yeah.
it came and you're getting standing ovations, like they love you. It's like, whoa, like I can just imagine.
It was
man.
unreal, man. It was and the funny thing is the lack of sleep caught up to me because we all got in the car, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna drive, and then I start driving, and then like the roads are empty, thank God. There's no one else on the road because it's like 4 in the morning. We're going back, and so we're just like, and then dude, I just like start like falling asleep, and then my boy just grabbed the wheel and he's like, yo, pull over
Holy.
right now, and I pulled over, and bro, I don't even remember like getting into the other seat. I just got in the seat and just I was
Passed
out,
out.
bro. I was out. Like it was insane, and like again, I didn't drink, I didn't do anything. It was just like I was just so tired. I was so like from the days leading up to it and all the work and effort, finally passed out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
woke up at home, and I was like, it's like when you're a kid, you woke up and you're like, oh, well, I'm back home somehow, you know, and you're like, okay, I'm home. Yeah, I don't know.
Makes sense, man. But I mean, I'm glad like, you were with your boys and like,
Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
driving alone and you like, after
No,
such
no.
like a high
Yeah.
immense like, peak of, all these energy and like, these like, adrenaline that's pumping through your veins.
Yeah.
You're celebrating and you're feeling good, and then you got to drive home alone, and then you get in an accident and it's
No,
like, fuck,
God
like,
forbid, you know.
yeah.
But I don't. You know what? Now looking back, I'm like, I don't know why we just didn't stay an extra night because we had hotels for the night before and stuff. But I don't know. Probably should have just stayed. It was pretty late. We could have just. But again, it was just.
You're
at
not
that
thinking
time,
about all that at
Yeah,
that
I wasn't
point.
thinking about it all. And also, like again, a lot of things were just closed. So it's just like even if we did stay, we're just like, what are we doing? You know, what's the plan? Like, what do we kind of do? But yeah, I don't know. I still had a good time. You know.
Nice. That's wow.
And dude, that's just round one. You know what I mean? Like there's more rounds.
More
after
to
this.
go,
This is the
yeah.
first round that I was just like, holy smokes, all this stuff happened.
Okay, so like now from then on, now you're on the road a lot. Like now you're doing tours, like you're doing all these shows.
Yeah.
It's like, you gotten used to the lifestyle yet?
I mean, yeah, because I think like at the end of the day, like this is always what I wanted. You know, so it wasn't something that was a surprise to me. It was always something that I was like, oh yeah, this is. When it happened, I'm kind of like, yeah, this is what I dreamed of. But I know there's so much more to go. You know, for me, this was never the end goal.
True.
And I've always told myself I never want Canada's Got Talent to be
The end point.
the end point or the one thing that I do
Just
in my
goes
life.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, there are some people who that's all they want, which is more power to you if that's what it is. But for me, I'm like, yo, like I want to use this. Now, and it was like 2023, 2022, 2023, somewhere in that time where I did it. So it's been like a year or two. So I'm like, oh, maybe give it 2 years, and I'm like gonna use that and ride the momentum. But then after that, I want to really just double down on more stuff and different opportunities. So. It's been good, and I'm really enjoying it so far, and I just want to do more, and see what else is there.
Nah, man, I'm super happy for you, and at the same time, I'm motivated because like I can like think of my personal experience, and there's things where like I've been like, oh, I've been trying to get to that point for
course,
so
yeah.
long, and it's like it's taken so long, and it's like, should I just give up on it? So like hearing your story, like bro, like that's very
Oh,
motivational.
thank you, man. Thank you,
Yeah.
dude. I think people get so close and then they stop, which is like the scariest part, and
It's life, man. Like, people
yeah.
go through so many things, but at the same time, like, I feel like the rejection of like when you give something your all and you're super passionate about it, and then it's like, you just meet with a closed door. I feel like then it's like, wow, like,
But that means that door wasn't for you, bro. That's all that means.
I guess that's one way to
You know
look
what I
at
mean?
it.
And it's just
Yeah.
like, because the problem is sometimes people get, and myself included, we get too caught up in the the small things. It's like, oh wait, like, because you always got to remember the end goal. What's the end goal, right? For me, like, again, the end goal wasn't doing Got Talent, so that's why America's Got Talent or Canada's Got Talent does not matter, because my end goal wasn't doing Got Talent. My end goal was to do TV, but it's also to tour. It's also to do these big shows, and for me, I've always said, a road to Scotiabank Arena is one day, hopefully, and it's like, for me, it's like it doesn't matter how, it's when, when that happens. So at the end of the day, man, sometimes the door closes. It's a blessing in disguise, at the end of the day. That door wasn't meant for you.
True.
The next door will open. It doesn't matter how many times the door closes. It's like the door that's meant for you will finally open. It's like you just got to keep pushing until that happens. And always, again, you can always adapt and try new things and try different things. Like you said, the podcast was going strong for a year, and then for whatever reason, for a year, you guys needed to take a break. You reevaluated and you came back, and there you go. It's like that's what it is, right? It's
Yeah.
like you always come back somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially when it like I feel like when it matters, you know what I
Yep.
mean? Like
Yeah.
like think about it. Like if we decided like like we're gonna just like put a lid on this, we would not be even having this
Absolutely, man.
conversation.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So like sometimes
Facts.
perseverance really like does a lot. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it really does propel you to where next you need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
like it's blind faith at the end of the day. You just gotta believe in that goal. At the end of the day, man, like there's no one else who will believe in that goal as much as you.
True.
Right? That's a big one. I feel like if you're not invested, it's like how can you convince the people around you to be invested? I always give this analogy of the boat, where it's like when you first start the journey, it's just you, and,
True.
and you got this big boat, this big dream of this thing you got to do, and you're doing everything. You're raising the sails, you're running around, steering the ship, and all these things, and there might be people along the side watching, but they're not there yet. Eventually, as you start going further, one person might join your boat, and it's
True.
like you might be one of your closest friends and sees the vision,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh damn, okay, cool. And next, you keep going. You got a whole boat full of people who are supporting you, helping you with the things that you need. And again, then certain doors open a little bit easier because again, you got a team of people.
yeah, you're not working alone anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. And it doesn't need to mean like they're physically like helping you with things,
True.
but it's just like
True.
even that
Just the
emotional-
belief.
the belief.
Yeah,
That's it.
just the
That's it.
belief in you and
Yes,
what
yes.
it is that you're
But
doing.
it starts with you. It's
True.
got to be you, and you got to be the biggest believer on that boat.
True.
Because you're steering that ship. You're
True.
guiding the boat, and you're like, yo, this is where we're going. But again, like I said, that's how you build that audience and that fleet of people. Have you heard of that the 1,000 true fans?
Yes,
Thing?
yes.
I think it's the same thing. It's like the 1,000 will come, and once you have the 1,000, bro, you can do anything.
Yep.
You can conquer the world.
So how do your parents feel now, like seeing all this success? Or also like, okay, let's start with how did they feel seeing that like, you got the standing ovation, like,
Yeah.
they loved you in the first round and then getting all the way to the finals?
So my parents have always been very supportive of the Magic from an early age, and I think it's partly because like my parents had their interest in the arts as well. My mom loved dancing, my dad loved drama and acting and things like that. So from a young age, they were very supportive. They would drive me to the one Magic shop that exists on all of. At the time there was two, but it was far. It was in like North York. Yeah.
Wow.
So at a young age, they would always drive. Like my first like big theater show I did was when I was 16. They helped me pay for everything, and my mom stitched the clothes for like the dancers I had, and it was like a whole family kind of operation really. And my brother too, a younger brother who helped. But I think the one thing that always was a little bit of a struggle was how does this become a full-time career?
True.
Right? They were very supportive of the idea that you're doing the arts, you're doing something fun, whether it's sports, whatever, keeping yourself busy and trying new things. But when it comes down to that question of how do you support yourself doing Magic, and for the longest time it was a very tough conversation to have because again, there's no one in my family that does entertainment, no one in my close circle at the time that I knew that did entertainment. So there's nothing for them to really go off of when I said I wanted to do this. It was more so just like, they were like, well, I guess like, we're gonna have to see what happens. And so I think what really helped me was that I was always very transparent with them from the beginning. every time I made a paycheck, I was like, hey, look, this is what, not even in a way to boost or any of that stuff. It was just more like, like this is what I'm doing. This is what's evolving. And I remember the first time I got $1,000 paycheck. That was a lot of money. I was like, whoa, like $1,000 for an hour of my time was like, and again, I'm not saying this to brag or do anything. It was just like, it was just a milestone moment for me. And I remember sharing that with my parents at a young age. And I was just like, they're like, oh, wow, that's interesting. Like someone, was willing to pay, and so I think that slowly started to show them like, okay, this can be a viable option, and I would always share stories of other creators that I knew that were, making X and Y and doing all these things, and they were able to do it because of that perseverance of continuing. But again, I still did go to school to make sure that they were still happy about those things. And when Got Talent came, they were very excited. They were like, wow, this is a big opportunity. And again, for them and from people of my parents' generation, again, TV is something that's very, like, you understand it. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to be like, yo, I got 1 million followers, and then there's another to be like, yo, I'm on national television. It's like, oh, you're on national TV, and I think there was something where like Nav said in an interview where like, he showed like all the platinum, this, that, whatever, and his mom was like, whatever, and then he appeared on the Toronto Sun and or Toronto Star, and his mom called. Was like, yo, you're on the Toronto. It's like the traditional media, it's like you kind of get it, but. They're super happy for me, and they were there during the entire time, helping me with everything, and very excited, and it was an emotional journey from beginning to end to go to the finale, and man, they've always been super supportive of it. I'm very thankful for them and for them doing that, and also my little brother as well. I shout out to him too. He's been supporting as well.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Yeah. When you have a supportive family, like really, like the sky is the starting point. Because if your family were like, oh no, like don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, you never succeed in this. Right, then it's that kind of slows you back too, a little bit. But like when they're like, all for you, like it might not always like in some people's cases always be like full total support. But it's like, oh, you need money to like go buy an outfit. Okay, sure. Like I'm gonna give you a little bit of money to like support you, like and see where it goes. Yeah. That little support really goes a long way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think I really understood it when one day my dad sat me down and he's like, look, at the end of the day, like we love you and the things that you do, it's your life, you get to choose what you want. He's like, but at the end of the day, your mom and I, we're not going to be here forever. And he's like, for us, the biggest like goal for us is that to make sure that you're okay. Right. When we're no longer here, you can support yourself, be on your own 2 feet. And if you want a family one day, and like these are things that we're thinking about for you as well. And so when you say, you want to do all these things, it's like, it's not that we don't want you to do these things, but it's the how
longevity.
The longevity and are you going to be okay? And don't get me wrong, I don't want to make it seem like there was never backlash from parents. Right? Obviously, there was conversation with them. Parents like, what are you doing? Like, but it's just to say that I'm grateful that they still came around and they're still just like, okay, they might be mad, but they'd be like, okay, you have an event, okay, I'll drive you. Like, there was one time, like, stuff was happening, and then I told them I have a show out in like the middle of nowhere. I was a kid at the time, and then my dad's like, okay, I'll drive you. I was like, I got my license at this point, but he's like, don't worry, I'll take you. It was like 3-hour drive away. He's like, I'll drive you there. And then he waited there, while the show was going on, and then after the show was done, he took me back. So it's like, things like that. So I do, thank them a lot for the support that they gave me. And the thing is, a lot of people do tell me that, like, I am privileged for that, and I do agree. And I'm very, humbled to know that I do have parents to do that for me. And I don't know.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Shout out to Savio's parents.
Yeah, shout out to the parents.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. You had a magic trick that you wanted to?
Yeah. You wanted to see something?
Yeah, man. I got you, man. Okay. I'm sure they're like, we'll be talking about magic like this whole time. Like, let's see something.
Let's do this. Now, do you play cards at all?
Nah, not really.
No, but you know what the deck of cards with
basics,
a little bit. Okay, here. I want you to just hold your hand out for me.
All right.
And I want you to put your other hand on top like this. Perfect. Here's what I want you to do, just for the viewers at home too, and for you as well. In a deck of cards, there are 4 suits. There's clubs, there's hearts, there's spades, there's diamonds. There's picture cards. They're like Jack, Queen, King, and there's Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, that's 52 cards in a deck of cards.
Right.
Right now, I want you to create a card right now. Because the reason I want you to do this is sometimes when I ask someone to name a playing card, a lot of times people go with the Ace of Spades, which is probably what you were thinking maybe, I don't know. And sometimes people go with Queen of Hearts. That's okay. So sometimes when I say that, that's immediate thought. So I don't want that. I want this to be a truly random and unique card.
Okay.
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to right now think of let's go with the suit. Any suit in your mind right now.
Okay.
Cool. Now I want you to think of let's go high-low. Think of high-low maybe. Got it? Mm-hmm. Now think of like a value of that. Whatever it's high or low. Mm-hmm. Got it. So now you should have a value and a suit. So a playing card basically. Mm-hmm. You got it locked in your mind?
A what?
A playing card.
Yes.
You got the suit and the value.
Yes.
I want you to now change your mind. Pick a completely different card.
Okay.
Change your mind one more time. Yeah.
Okay.
Completely random card. The reason I asked you to do this and change your mind multiple times is because I don't even want you to think that you knew what you would land on.
Okay.
So this is a completely random card. Now, for the people at home, before we started, I didn't tell you to pick this. This is a truly random card that you just came to right now.
Yeah.
For the first time, can you tell everybody what is the card you were just thinking of right now?
I should say it.
You should say it. Yeah.
The Joker.
The Joker. So the Joker is not in the deck. The Joker is
All right.
There's only 52 cards here. So Joker would be 54.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't know cards.
That was good though.
I was trying to throw him off.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So pick a card that's in the deck of cards. There's 52 cards. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I got something.
Tell them for the first time. What is it?
It is a club.
Okay.
Black club.
Black club. Okay.
The number. I got to tell the number too?
Any number? Yeah.
9.
9 of clubs.
Yes.
Is there any reason why you thought of this card?
Numerology, actually. Like, my numerology is 9.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's interesting. What I didn't tell you is that before this started, before I came here, I did something.
Okay.
I took this deck that you're holding in your hand right now,
Yeah.
and I turned over one card, so it's the only card facing the wrong way. I'm going to show you this. Here, look. Turn one card over. I'm going to move this over. Hold this for me. Turn one card over, so it's the only card facing the wrong way in the entire deck of cards.
Okay.
You said what? What was the card you said again?
9 club?
Just like this?
What the shit? What the? That's impossible, man. Come on, man. Did you see that? That was not planned. A lot of people might not understand that. Like, to me, I'm like,
Yeah.
and that was also like after I changed my mind again,
Yeah,
like after getting something out of like, the mix. Damn, man, you're scaring me a little bit, bro. Like, okay.
You want to see something else?
Yes.
All right, let's do this.
Wait. How the fuck did you do that? I was like, what?
All right, let's do this. Let's paint this picture. I want to do this. I want you to imagine right now we are going to the Oscars.
Right.
Okay, I want you to imagine that, we're suited up, we're at the Oscars right now, and we go sit down, and you somehow sit next to some celebrity that you've always wanted to meet.
Uh-huh.
Can you picture that right now?
Uh-huh.
Now, again, be honest, tell the people at home, I didn't pay you $5 and tell you to play
did
along.
not?
This is genuinely someone in your mind that you've wanted to meet.
Yes.
Okay, think of this person right now. I'm just
Yes.
going to get a marker, and I also have notepad. It's empty. There's nothing on this. Think of this person right now.
Uh-huh.
Imagine their name written out in big, bold letters in front of you right now.
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. Now just think male, female. Think male, female.
I gotta tell you?
No, don't say anything. Just in
Okay.
your mind. Just in your mind. You should be thinking. There's a slight smile. It's not a female. It's a male, isn't it? You're thinking. Of.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just think of their name written out in front of you.
Uh-huh.
Think of just their last name, the very last name.
Mm-hmm.
Think of the very last letter in their name.
Okay.
In their last name. You got it?
Yes.
Don't look at what I'm writing. Just
Okay.
I'm gonna show them. Don't look into the camera. Don't look that way. Yeah. I'm gonna
Okay.
show the camera. That's what I think. Just into the microphone. I have it written down.
Yeah.
What my think is. Just the last letter in their name.
The last letter is an O.
It's an O. Okay, just like this. Just making sure.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Yo.
Think of. No. Let's do this. You know what? Let's do this. Think of this person. Keep thinking of this person.
Uh-huh.
Think of what they do. Their occupation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to narrow it down. Maybe something in entertainment, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, Oscars. I mean, Oscars probably movie related, I'm assuming, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. These are just guesses because we're at the Oscars. I mean, can you hold your hand up for me? Think of their name one more time. Okay. Don't look at what I'm writing.
You know I'm Nigerian. We do not fuck with voodoo.
Okay. I think I'm absolutely 100% committed. I'm even going to give this to you face down, so you know I can't change my mind. Hold your hand out like this. Put your other hand on top. For the first time into the microphone, who is the person you're thinking of?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
Can you turn that over, look what I wrote down, and show them?
No. 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 What the hell, man?
Can we bring Leo out for me, please? No, I'm just playing with you. No,
Yo. Savio the magician.
Thank you,
Everybody.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't get it either, man. It makes no sense to me either. You know.
I was trying to pick something that he wouldn't get. Because the last time I saw you do this,
Yeah.
I was also wondering the guess that the person made, there's no way you would get it, but you got it. I was like, now it's my turn, and I'm like, there has to be some math to that. Like, what?
Yeah, man, 2 + 2 = 4.
Nah, man, 2 + 2 does not equal Leonardo DiCaprio. It doesn't equal you knowing what is in my brain. That's scary shit, bro. The government about to recruit this guy to start figuring out what is in our brains. Like, what the?
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
that was.
You know where to find me. No,
that was mad impressive.
Thank you, man.
And
have you ever been to a show before, a stage show before?
Nah.
Next time I'll do a show, I'll bring you out.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that. Damn.
Yeah.
I want to learn. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you, man. You got to teach me this shit. I'm going to pull up to a party and be like, hey, guess what, baby? I'm magic. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro.
Hey, man, you know what they say? With great power comes great responsibility.
True.
You know, you got to careful with what you wish for, man. I know. It's crazy.
Okay.
The next time you come, on the stage show, you'll see I hypnotize people, too. Which I won't do here, but you'll see that
that's
as well.
Some crazy shit, bro. Nah, bro. What? I was low-key thinking you were gonna botch one of them at least. Like, how do you get 2 for 2?
Here's the thing.
Bro?
I will say things do go wrong. Like I'm not like a psychic or a medium. Like things happen, things do go wrong. But the whole point of being a performer is learning how to deal with those scenarios and learn how to create still a performance regardless of what happens.
The 9 Club one kind of was okay, but this is cards. You can fuck around with cards. But that Leonardo DiCaprio one, man, that almost got me
Cards
up,
are
bro.
my first love, man. Cards is where I started. You know, I was very much I would get cards taken away from me in school all the time because I would just be sitting in school and just doing
Holy,
things like this. You know, it was just,
you see this type of shit in Vegas, man. Like, what the?
Just shuffling, and people would the teacher would take the cards away in the middle of.
Hey, if your teachers could see you now, what up?
You know, they actually all came out to my show. The high school teachers all came out to one of my shows.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Nice.
They saw me on saw me on TV, and they're
nice.
like, this is tight.
Nice. Yeah, I remember when you took my cards away. Look at me now. Oh, look at me now. Nah, that's fire.
I don't hold it against anyone, man. It is
I would.
Yeah. I'm dead, man. Oh man.
Well, nah, that's fire, bro. I really, really appreciate you coming out to
much love.
To be with us, man. I'm gonna talk to you about this shit behind the scenes because you got me fucked up.
Hey, man.
But that's real talent, and I can see how you made it to the finals, man. All those competitors coming with the same zeal to I gotta win, and you made it to the finals.
Thank you, man.
Wow.
Hey, man, it took a team, bro. I had a lot of people that helped me along the way, and again, it was the right pieces, the right cards came together. No pun intended, and it just happened,
One last question.
Yeah, man.
Who's your mentor magician? Who do you look up to? One of the greats.
Man, that's a tough question. I think there's different answers for different reasons. I think someone that we all know, David Blaine, is a big inspiration. I think because he made magic cool.
True.
Right. He was the first magician to go into the streets. And he'd go to his hood and in a t-shirt and jeans and he had one camera. At that time, a lot of other people who would do magic shows, Chris Angel was another one who's also really great. He'd have a full crew, production,
true.
Lights, camera. Blaine came in, one camera, and boom, you see the magic up close, right in your face. And so I think it made it really cool. And I remember being a kid watching that kind of stuff and to be like, man, that's so dope. Like, I'd love to do something like that one day. Then there's another Canadian magician named Sean Farquhar. I remember he's not like as well known, but he's still like he won like the Grand Prix of Magic that happens like every couple of years. He was a big influence growing up as well, and I looked up to him and the material that he did as well. Yeah.
Damn. You got my respect, bro.
Oh man, thank you, bro.
You got my respect.
That's
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for having me.
Like
Man.
you're not trying to like still know like destiny type shit shaking your hand, right? Like no voodoo shit, right?
Oh man, I can't promise, man. You got your wallet on you? Just making sure.
Yeah, I got my wallet.
Got it? Now I know where it is. Yeah, so thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yo, that's another trick you gotta teach me.
Hey man. Hey man.
I wouldn't say no more.
That's
I
it.
wouldn't
That's
say
it.
everything else is gonna happen behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, yeah.
But yeah, man, appreciate you
Thank
coming
man.
out.
Much love. Thank you, bro.
Been another episode of the Role Models Podcast. Once again, Savio the Magician.
Thank you.
We'll see you in the next episode.